All right, a tier list no one asked for, but I'm gonna give it to you anyway because this is my channel, and I spent the last few weeks listening to Oneohtrix Point Never, so we're gonna rank all of his works, his solo works that were all released on streaming. So if you see something here that I haven't gotten to, or that I missed, let me know if anything, or if not, we'll just continue. I think if I do something like this in the future, I will definitely take like more detailed notes and kind of keep everything more calculated and more thought out. But today we're just gonna wing it. So we're gonna start and ignore. We'll get to the tiers as we go through, but we'll start from this, which, let me check the name real quick. This is Betrayed in the Octagon. All right, so starting with Betrayed in the Octagon, you can skip this one. There's not much really. It's his first project, I think. It's fine, but like, to me it just doesn't really warrant listening more than once, if at all. It kind of like, you felt like he had more gas in the tank in a way. Like, you could tell there was something there, if anything. But I won't talk about it too much. I'm going to talk about Zones Without People, I believe, which is a little bit better, but it's still and I don't like. I will say though, I'm only doing this for the top five, for my top five when we get there. But shout out the title track. Go listen to that. That's really good. That's the only thing off of this that I think you should listen to. Everything else is kind of just it's cool. Like, it just boils down to electronic music, but it's like kind of, it has no sauce. Like, it doesn't really do anything for me. And you see, especially like when he gets it right, like what it does and what it feels like, and this just isn't really that. So moving onward, we're gonna go to Russian Mind, which I don't like either. Kind of the same thing. It has this kind of like, it has an interesting style. Like, it's all the same kind of vein, like isolative, electronic, like soundscape, like The Grid, Tron-y, like, but a little less flavor and not really the style. But it's kind of like he's working his way up to something decent here, which Returnal, we're already at Returnal, I actually like it a lot. This kind of, these two is a little bit of a jump, but I think this, apart from like the first song and the last song, everything else in here is a winner. Levels, you have levels of winners, but for the most part, everything is a winner. I want to highlight Stress Waves, the title track. Stress Waves is my favorite. The title track, and Where Does Time Go? This is like, I would, if you've heard, we'll get to it later, but if you've heard Replica and you're thinking about listening to more stuff, I don't think this is a bad, like, this is not a bad kind of offshoot on your journey. Which we're gonna get into Replica, which I went back and forth, but ultimately I think Replica is better. I don't know, I'll probably adjust at the end, but I think it's on the verge for me, and I know that might be a hot take, because Replica is probably the album that got you into this guy, into Daniel, or it made you aware of like this kind of music and what he was doing and all of that. But I think there's a lot of things that Replica does right, but then there's a lot of like listening to it again, some of it kind of loses that flash and that kind of emphasis, that boldness that we'll get in a little bit. So I think for a gateway project, this is going to do a lot, right? You have your Andro. I also really like Sleep Dealer, but my favorite track is definitely Explain. When I heard Explain, it kind of like rewired my brain in a way where I was like, oh, okay, so music can do this. And that's kind of a little bit of glaze, but it is worth your time. This is kind of the project where if you listen to this and don't like it, you're probably not going to like the rest of his stuff, but you could probably find something. It's just a solid record overall, but I think there are some like Up or Nasu, that one, where he's like gasping for air. It's like worked into the instrumental. I'm not a big fan of that. But that's all I want to say on Replica, because we're gonna get to Fall Into Time, which I think is an I like it. Well, it's kind of it's a noise actually. It kind of is. It's sort of, I don't want to say generic, but it doesn't really have anything pulling me back to it. I think it just sounds good. It's like very soundtracky in a way. It does a nice job at like building this environment, this electronic environment that kind of like surrounds you. But there's just, the other thing I wanted to say, that I mentioned, now's a good time. A lot of these, all three of these contain songs that are like 9 minutes plus, or one has like, I think one's like 16 minutes, or is that a different project? I don't know. That might be a different one, but they all contain like really long. It's on this one, I believe. Drawn and quartered, but they all contain really long ambient songs or like electronic songs, and I don't think he can pull it off with like what this was. It just didn't work to me, and when you have like kind of a mass song that's 16 minutes, it doesn't really help it. It just kind of makes the problem worse. So it's like if you cut it off at 6 minutes, it would have been better, but now it's 10 more. Drawn and quartered, I think I don't care enough to order this. I do think it's better. There's some moments I like on here. I don't really want to, there's nothing I have to shout out in particular, but it's definitely like, you can listen to it if you want. I wouldn't. I think it's fine, but there are moments that outweigh the good. But now we get to probably his artistic peak. And if you wondered why R+7 was called R+7, it's perfect. Well, the album's not perfect, but it's pretty close. It's his artistically most ambitious project. This one took me a few listens to really get and understand. I walked away with like a few tracks on the first listen, but I something kept pulling me back, because I felt like there's enough going on with it dynamically or like sonically that it feels so vibrant, and it feels like kind of you're stepping into new worlds. It's very much like I'm trying not to glaze this, but it has, I mean, you kind of see it in his other stuff, but he'll have like songs are comprised of 20 or so, however long snippets that like play off of each other or come in, come out, and they're like swapped around. But this is like at its best, and it builds this world, and it kind of is such an interesting experience. I think that's the word I want to highlight, is that it doesn't feel like music. Some of this doesn't feel like music, and it's listenable. Some of it doesn't feel like music, and it's not listenable. Some of it, when it does feel like music, or when it is listenable, it is quite amazing. So I urge you to give R+7 a listen. If you've already given it a chance, maybe give it another. But to the three I want to highlight, I don't know if I already mentioned this: Chrome Country, Still Life, and Boring Angel. But Zebra, Americans, the other thing, Along, Cryo, Problem Areas is a bit of a problem area, ironically. I think Inside World, or no, she's fine. Inside World, Along, there's like, that's the my danger points, but overall I think it is his best work. But is it his best work to date? You'll have to keep watching, or maybe you already know. Maybe you probably see that there's only one R+7 tier, but maybe I put another album in there. Who knows? All right, Commission 2. You could probably skip this one. I'm gonna be honest. The last song is like 16 minutes or something. Again, or the last song is like really, no, it's 19 minutes. There's some interesting stuff with like this kind of like rock-ish sort of infusion that he's going for, like a metal, more metallic side, like industrial kind of electronic. You can skip this one. I don't think it's really, if anything, it's like noise. But I wouldn't waste your time. Garden of Delete. I think people ride for this one, but I'm not a fan. It might take more listens. It might take more listens for me, but I'm not crazy about this one. Not gonna lie. I don't have much to say. It's like very all over the place, and it kind of like, there's moments. It kind of, so what I was getting into earlier, it has moments that are really good, but in the same song you'll have other moments that I'm not a fan of, and it just kind of ruins the song for me. So maybe if I got used to hearing it, or it like something to soften the blow, then it would have been better. Moving on, Good Time. Getting into his first soundtrack. These are all gonna be, for the most part, I think Good Time is just I like it. Nothing really to say. I think When the Acid Hits is a good track. Bail Bonds, Hospital Escape. It's cool to listen to these without the movie. I probably will watch. I mean, I've seen Marty Supreme multiple times, but I've listened to the soundtrack multiple times, so I kind of am able to like compare it, and like when I'm this point in the track list, I'm imagining what's going on in the movie. Good Time I haven't seen. Uncut Gems I haven't seen. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of affects if I ever do watch them, which I should. I plan on. But Good Time is a good listen. Age of for me was in one ear, out the other sort of deal. But I think it's noise. There's some stuff to love about it. Nothing like stuck with me. Like even trying to like sift through it again, I have to like another listen will probably further cement it. But I think it's fine. If someone told me that it was their favorite project, I probably wouldn't talk to him a lot after that, but I can understand it. We'll move on. Uncut Gems, I think, is his better soundtrack. Honestly, I probably should do this, because I think as good as these soundtracks are, I don't think they really they don't hold a candle to like his top tier work. But I think obviously I'm like they're enjoyable. They're more enjoyable than some of his other projects. Moving on, Magic. This is low key better. Yeah, this is low key better than Replica. What I want to shout out. I think I Don't Love Me Anymore. I like how the thing to me that sets this apart is you have like these kind of skits or like sound bites in between that add it's like slightly more. There's slightly more of a. It has like this body of work kind of feel. Like it has a more ambition, and there's more of this like soundscape and more of this like. I don't even know how to say it, but it just feels more fleshed out in a way. Or not that like Replica's lacking. It just this has a deeper like theme, and it feels like it's working towards more. And you have some like vocal. You not just maybe you have vocal. I think like not just samples. I feel like there's actual vocals in some of these songs. Like I said, I Don't Love Me Anymore. The Weather Channel's good. I'm not a fan of like I need to get used to that rap verse at the end. But No Nightmares. There's a ton of good stuff. Lost But Never Alone. Shifting. Wave Idea. Imago. Like there's a lot. There's just more than Replica, and I think some of it matches, if not, peaks harder than Replica. Replica is just a nice listen overall, but Magic is a little bit of magic, magic for the ears. Again, I don't know if I want to listen to this again. Honestly, I think it's noise, but I think it's good noise. I'd say that. But this was at a point I started from here and worked my way from his oldest to his earliest, and by the time I got here to again, I was just kind of getting tired of it, but that's okay. We will I'll give it probably another listen, but for right now it's just noise. It's good noise. I would listen to it again probably. There's some good tracks on it, but nothing that stuck with me enough. Yeah, I'll go with that. Finally, second to last, Tranquilizer. I think that's a good placement. Like, I think it is not handily his second best, but like Bumpy, Life World, Measuring Ruins, Modern Lust, Fear of Symmetry, Vestigial. Like, he knows how to name tracks too. Um, Tranquilizer, Storm Show, Rotal Glide, Waterfalls. Like, front to back, it's just super consistent. It doesn't have anything that's like, well, that was weird, like, why did he put that there? There's none of that. It's all just like good. And he kind of has more like sample stuff. There's some more like things that lean into ambience. So it's a very wide range for as far as electronic music goes. And there's a lot of stuff to love. But it's not his best. But it's top 3 easily. And then Marty Supreme, I think, low key, I might just do this. I don't know. I'd rather listen to these 3 again than have to listen to this. Marty Supreme is his best soundtrack. To me, what makes a good soundtrack is it able to stand on its own? And I think Marty Supreme in some ways does that. Certain tracks do. Certain tracks kind of need the movie to work. But it's a great soundtrack. If you haven't listened to it, just watch the movie to kind of get a taste. I feel like it's so wrapped up in it, and it really just makes it, like, it enhances the movie, which is a good mark of a soundtrack. Not to ramble on for too much longer, because we're already 22 minutes in. That's my list. If you think there's other artists that I should do this with, let me know. If not, you don't want to see this ever again, let me know. But that's it. Hopefully, you give this guy a listen. That's my hope. Maybe this inspired you to listen to at least 3. If you're going to listen to 3, pick these 3. All right. I will not dilly-dally any longer. You guys have a great week and or weekend, or whenever you are watching this. Toodles.